Hello, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever time it is, wherever you're joining us. Thank you very much. This is another episode of the Movecast. Today we have our awesome guest, Mr. Bennett Davis from Canopy. Today we're going to be learning about the vaults that Canopy has set up, the kind of incentives or maybe, the features that they'll be running. And who better to have it explained to us than Mr. Bennett Davis himself? So if you could please introduce yourself, maybe a little background, and how you got involved into Canopy, please, David. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Dallas, thank you so much for having me. Love
Oh,
the
dude,
move,
for sure.
guys. I've been here since day one. The episodes keep getting better and better. So, how I started with movement and Canopy. So, hey guys, I'm Bennett, the founder of Canopy and previous employee at Movement. So, I guess we can really start there. I was schoolmates with Rushim, the co-founder at Movement, and he really took me under his wing and brought me straight into Movement. I started off on the BD side and helped kind of set up the grassroots for what a beautiful ecosystem has sprouted over there. And then, as that really got under its way, I switched my learning slash work over to the engineering side and really got to spend a lot of quality time with some of the brightest minds in the blockchain industry. Those really trying to push the Move language further on the movement team. And so, yeah, that was like Liam and all those guys. So that was truly, truly wonderful. Then I would say about 8 to 9 months ago, Rushi and Coop asked me to start a yield aggregation platform for the movement ecosystem, really to serve as this almost public good, a place where any community member can come and find yield opportunities across the movement network. So it really simplifies that process of deploying liquidity onto the movement chain.
Cool. Yeah, so I guess a little bit of your background and the what the Canopy does. Cool. Is there So that's just interesting how you kind of started off with VD and then you kind of pivoted over into like running your own
Extremely
protocol,
helpful.
dude.
Especially since we are in a modular space here. Sorry to cut you off, but I think
No,
highlighting the amount of modularity that's gone into the movement ecosystem, we've had to talk to a ton of different infrastructure providers as well as protocols to really get this thing to where it is today.
dude. Yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, it's also kind of like a testament to the space, right? Like starting off as a VD and then like switching over, putting on, I guess, I think you had like a little bit of background in coding, right? Like you were taking classes in
Yeah,
computer science.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
computer
pretty
science and
much.
mathematics essentially.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd ever be able to wrap my head around one
I'm
of
sure
those
you could.
things.
You,
you're,
you
you're,
can do anything you set your heart to.
you're a generous man. But yeah, I guess people are more or less familiar with like the vaults, and I love how you described it as a public good. Is there maybe I don't know a little bit more of insight how maybe Canopy's vaults differentiate themselves from like maybe other vaults or how they specifically work?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can really draw a comparison here. When you typically deposit into a vault on a yield aggregation platform, it's a one step process that you deposit X amount of liquidity, whether that's in paired tokens such as USDC and ETH, and then that goes into the pool and spits out an LP token. Canopy is a bit different. Canopy enables what we call single sided liquidity. And essentially, what that means is instead of having to deploy two assets in equal parts, users can now deposit just one of those assets and still be able to enter that pool. And then what we have on our vaults is similar to an ALM, an automated liquidity manager, that's fully on chain, 100% smart contracts. So everything it does is available to anyone to publicly view. That essentially rebalances that vault based on state. So let me give you a quick example. If we have again, USDC and ETH vault, and there is a healthy state of both USDC and ETH in that vault, then nothing will happen with the ALM. It considers it to be a healthy state. However, if there was to be in sudden influx of ETH and the vault had to be rebalanced, our technology would automatically rebalance that back to a healthy state so that you can avoid more of this downfall of impermanent loss and reduce that.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. You just segued perfectly into my next question because I think impermanent loss is something that most of us have to, I've experienced it whenever trying to deposit, tokens, and it's usually, you said you're able to deposit single-sided tokens. So in regards to that, let's say I just deposit like USDC. Um, Obviously, I don't think I'd be experiencing any impermanent loss with just USDC, right? Like I'd just be putting in whatever tokens and get that out. So, yeah, I guess in regards to impermanent loss, would other people, or I mean, if I were to just like maybe deposit ETH, there wouldn't be any issue if I just do it on the single side, or like how is impermanent
So
loss kind of more
we'll never
just?
like take that absolute stance of
Hmm.
there will not be any impermanent loss, as
Hmm.
impermanent loss is something that happens in DeFi, right? When
Okay.
you're pairing two really tethered assets together,
Hmm.
there will
Hmm.
be impermanent loss. However, with this dynamic rebalancing system,
Hmm.
one that converts that excess Ethereum into, say, USDC, then you can reduce impermanent loss. So
Excellent.
we're looking to really protect the depositors in that scenario.
Yeah.
And we'll switch over to USDC move. I think
Oh,
that'll be better for the podcast here.
awesome, awesome. What you call it? Oh God, I was going to ask you something else and I totally just spaced. But in regards to maybe what you guys are doing, is there anything else maybe in the future? Are you guys going to like solely focus on vaults, or like maybe you guys are going to be introducing anything else in the future? Anything you can share with us?
Yeah. So at Canopy, we really live by this phrase of being the tide to lift all ships. And that is extremely important for us when the ships in the scenario are the ecosystem protocols and all of the passengers on those ships are community. So we want to give our community the ability to reach any and all protocols in a strategic way that involves simply deploying liquidity into one of our vaults. So I believe our current roadmap at the moment is to do as many integrations with top tier protocols as we can. Those are your money markets for lending and borrowing, your automated market makers or DEXs for swapping and liquidity providing. Those are your perp DEXs for looking at futures, as well as staking platforms, which are going to be big on movement, I'm sure.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, you guys are kind of like actively like seeking partners, collaborations, whatever can like render the most or like the best value for the community.
And
I'm
we
pretty sure
have
everyone.
those partnerships.
Mhm.
Um, it is simply a matter of pushing out those integrations. Um, and as you know, we're really pushing quite hard on the engineering front right now as we have the Cornucopia campaign moving forward, and
That's
we're acting
right.
as the main movement partner there on the movement network side.
Yeah. So that's a great topic you brought up. Can we talk about a little bit more about the cornucopia? How I guess is Canopy, or are you guys like the currently like the only vault system on movement, or how did it come about for you guys to be like the deposit or the depositees, if that's the word?
Yeah. And let's just give a quick intro to what Cornucopia is in case listeners may not have heard of it yet. The
Absolutely.
Cornucopia campaign is the campaign to precede TVL on the Movement Network. And Canopy has stepped into the role of productively deploying that liquidity. And so essentially, what has happened is $250 million of assets have been put in vaults on Ethereum.
Hmm.
And then that liquidity will be bridged over to the movement network directly into Canopy vaults, where then that liquidity will be productively deployed into ecosystem projects,
Mhm.
which will allow users to gain rewards, among other things.
Cool. And then do we know how long the Cornucopia program or this initiative is going to be running for? I think they said it for a while, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know the movement guys are cooking,
Yeah.
and I think they wanted this to be about a year-long campaign,
Oh, that's
with the
awesome.
first phase getting ready to launch quite soon here.
Yeah.
Um, the deposits on the Ethereum side have already been concluded, and
Hmm.
so I don't know the exact date
Hmm.
for when it will be released, given that we're recording this podcast beforehand.
Yeah.
But that will be quite soon.
Cool. So yeah, so I guess this is a campaign that's going to be going on for a while. So I'm sure the community will have like plenty of opportunities to get in there and like I guess pick up whatever incentives that the initiative has going on at the moment.
Exactly.
Awesome. Um, I would like for to take us a little bit back right now. Before it was Canopy, I think you guys had like Sate or Sate. I think I just said the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Can you? Is it okay if we talk about maybe like what led to like the transition from Sate to Canopy, and like was it a different product or like what was
Yeah. I would
the
be
impetus for the change?
super happy to chat about that.
Dope.
Sate was a project that the guys over at Movement had previously had on Aptos. And really, the vision for Canopy was to be the Movement version of what Sate was.
Mhm.
Um, and at Canopy, we've really built on top of that idea. And so we've introduced, you know, little steps on top of Vault infrastructure to really make Canopy what it is today.
Mhm.
That being the single side liquidity as well as directional liquidity, and then the integrations we've done with all these great movement partners. So definitely a very, very similar goal to what Sate had in mind. And, with the blessing of the movement guys, it's been a dream come true thus far. And we really just want to serve the community quite well and provide a great product.
Dope, man. Public good. I love that term you said a bit ago. And you know what? I do want to talk a little bit about movement and your how you got with them and like the function of community. But I just want to ask you really quickly because like I don't understand like a lot of like these technical or these terms, whatever. I'm in the Discord, the Canopy Discord. I got my directional liquidity role. Can you explain a little bit what directional liquidity is, please?
Yeah, it's actually in our docs. So now would be
Yeah.
a pretty good time to mention. If you guys go to canopyhub.xyz, you'll be able to see everything regarding what directional liquidity is.
Mhm.
And let me just send you that link right now, Tal, so you have.
Absolutely.
Um,
We could also share the screen. I can go ahead and do that if you like.
yeah, but
Yeah.
essentially that's what we were talking about a little earlier
Hmm.
about converting liquidity based on excess liquidity in the pool. So if we have in our move USDC example excess USDC, we would
Hmm.
convert that USDC into move essentially. And then that provides a more healthy state for the pool and tends to reduce impermanent loss.
Directional liquidity is this something relatively new or something you guys introduced, or it's kind of like a concept that's already kind of like been floated around and you guys just kind of
I
implemented
think
it?
in the vault infrastructure,
Hmm.
it's relatively new, and by no means are we the first ones to employ this.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe the first ones in Move. That's fun. But this
Yeah.
idea really came along the Uni V3 model,
Hmm.
and so we are personally experimenting with a lot of Uni V4 um, tweaks to what
Hmm.
directional liquidity and single sided liquidity provision can really become.
Hmm.
Hopefully, that will come later in the roadmap. I know we're
Yeah.
in the early development phases for that.
Dope, man. Dope. So yeah, I think right now you mentioned like how like the movement team really kind of was wanting or had like aspirations for this kind of protocol to be established on movement. I wanted to ask you, I'm not sure if you've gotten the chance to maybe work with any other teams, but like, how has your experience been so far with like, Rushi, Koops, and like everyone? Like,
Man,
yeah,
it's been amazing. You know,
yeah,
to watch two college kids step out on their own 2 feet and go and start this massive movement. It's been a pleasure
yeah,
to really be there from the early get go of it. So truly inspiring on that front. And then the team that they brought on board, whether it's Tarab leading BD, Will leading marketing, or even the people behind the scenes, like
mhm,
the massive engineering team, for example, those people are extremely supportive and very helpful to ecosystem protocols, which I believe is truly um, the difference maker for movement. Given how supportive they are of Canopy and all the AMMs, money markets, etc., we're able to produce a good product that aligns with the movement ecosystem values, and the movement ecosystem values are set out by the movement community. So
yeah,
there's really just nice synergies going on. And as far as our partner protocols, I believe we've announced partnerships with the Echelon guys, the Meridian guys, Yuzu as well. And we have many more partnership announcements coming down the pipeline. But it's truly been a pleasure. I haven't met anyone who is not forward thinking and innovative in the space.
dude, that's wonderful. I bet you the community just loves to hear that. I know I really enjoy hearing that, like knowing that you guys like everyone's just cool with each other. I feel like everyone's based, I guess, to use the terminology.
That's a great use of based.
Yeah. So, other people that are coming into the space, would you have like any kind of advice for like builders that are maybe kind of hesitant to maybe check out Move? Because
Reach
from
out.
yeah,
Just
reach
reach
out.
out. Just
Yeah.
reach.
Yeah.
Twitter
Because I
DMs are
think
always open. I'm sorry to cut you off here, but
no, no.
I just think it is extremely, extremely important. The guys in the blockchain space, for the most part, are hungry.
Mm,
Whether you have young bucks stepping up to the plate and launching ecosystems, or people transitioning from more traditional careers, you know, blockchain isn't a perfect space, one that's completely thought out to the T. There's still so much innovation to come. So if you have any ideas or simply want to pick up a protocol job and work in the ecosystem, work on BD, work in community, work on engineering, people's DMs are open.
yeah.
Yeah, I've met too many people who've gotten phenomenal jobs that have changed their lives just by sending a Twitter DM.
That's incredible, dude. Yeah, this space is nuts. And I think that's something also that, the community like really likes to hear. There's all these opportunities, and just depends on the individual, like how engaged and how active they want to be. Before I fully switch over to talk about community, I saw you in East Denver. How was your experience there? It was really cool meeting you.
It
Yeah, it
was
was
made
dope for me.
better by meeting with Ruffles.
Yeah, yeah. That was. I was glad I brought her along, and it was just so cool. You guys showed up like at that time and stuff, because I was just like hanging out whatever the restaurant we were at. But yeah, how was the rest of your time there? And anything cool happen? Any highlights?
So I believe we met over at the ecosystem brunch. I thought that was the most fruitful event. When you have all of Canopy's partners in one restaurant, it's really, really
Hmm.
helpful to get to know, put uh, names and faces together and meet that person in real life. Extremely helpful for forging a connection there.
Yeah.
Um, and in terms of how helpful it was, is extremely extremely helpful. I
Yeah.
think Movement put on a clinic. They did some phenomenal events that really were focused on community and ecosystem projects, and so it was great to benefit from that.
Yeah. I know I definitely sat in on one of the talks that Will had about community managers, or I think it was like a marketing talk. And I think, yeah, there was definitely like a lot of valuable information given to like throughout the whole session stuff. I think I was just there for modular day. Were you there the whole week by any chance, or like did you check out any other events outside I guess modular day?
Yeah. I was lucky enough to be invited to a founders economy dinner put on
Mm,
by Blue Seven. They're a firm coming out of, I think, Dubai in Australia. And so essentially, what that event does is it puts founders in a room together. No outside influences, no institutions, no VCs, even though those people are wonderful and truly
mhm,
welcome. Um, just being in a room with other founders, bouncing around ideas, getting their experience in the crypto industry was extremely helpful for me. I founded my first company about 8 months ago. And so learning from people who've been in the industry for a very long time, doing similar things to what I'm doing,
mhm.
was extremely, extremely helpful.
Dude, so cool, man. And then yeah, congratulations. Yeah, like having your own company at like that young of an age, I feel like that's got to be like a crazy good feeling, brother.
I hope that we do significantly well and we do a lot of good for the movement ecosystem here. That's my
Yeah,
biggest hope with it.
yeah.
And, with mainnet beta launching, I think that we've taken a great step in the right direction.
Hmm.
Still a lot of work to be done. You know, can't hang our caps, but we're moving forward to a good future here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally excited about like mainnet beta already being here. I've bridged. It's just like we're chipping away at it, getting
I
closer
bridged
to.
as well, so
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think I'd like to go ahead and like switch over a little bit about community, or to the topic of community right now. Um, are there any like plans or anything going on right now? Given that mainnet beta is launched, ways to like include community or what am I trying to say? Yeah, like how does Canopy like maybe want to include community more, maybe going forward as well?
what we're gonna do is, it's hard to bridge this digital barrier of knowing your community just through their Discord name.
Yeah.
So we're in plans to partner with Movement as well as host events ourselves around
Hmm.
the world. So please keep an eye and an ear out for any meetups in your location, because I think it's really important for us to make those connections in real life. And then how does community matter for Canopy? Like, you guys are our users, the reason why we're building this. So your input is extremely valuable. Um, I have to say, I wish I was more active in our Discord, and that's something that going into this Q2, I'm going to do a better job of, because I really want to engage with you guys on a deeper level.
Hmm.
But our community moderators have just been doing an absolutely killer job in communicating what the heartbeat of the community is
Hmm.
back to us. Um, you know, Working on a project as deep as Canopy,
Yeah.
um, you get lost in the sauce sometimes, and whether we're building out our reward distribution engine or focusing on the next big vault launch, it's important to know what does the community actually want, because that helps steer us in the right direction.
Yes, sir, dude. And then yeah, you've done such a great job with that as well, dude. I love Khuifu. That dude does great work in the Discord, and he knows how to manage it. He knows.
Unbelievable, amazing, God's
Yeah.
gift. I can't think of any more nicknames, but he
Yeah.
is a phenomenal.
Yeah, dude. And then I don't know, just funny that his name's Fu. Because I mean, sometimes I just josh with him. It's like, "What up, Fu?" Anyways, I noticed also that you guys, and I don't know if like how far we can get into this at the moment, but you guys are potentially thinking about doing an NFT series. Is there, if that's true, if there's anything you guys can or you can tell us about that by any chance?
That is a Mr. Fu question. He
Yeah.
is he's been cooking. I wasn't a big NFT holder before I got into the crypto infrastructure and DeFi space.
Yeah.
but I think I will be. I'm really, really excited. Shout out to the Gorilla Movers as well. You guys have been absolutely kicking butt on the NFT collections, and I think you've been really inspiring across the space. So I think there's a
Awesome.
lot of good things to come once we're able to mint NFTs on mainnet and get some proper marketplaces rolling here.
Yeah, I think we're all excited, man. I think we've all been building also for like a while. So, um, and I'm not sure if like a lot of people outside really know like the time and the dedication, like everything that it takes to like finally reach somewhere where you're saying like, yeah, you're gonna have like an NFT release. But yeah, no, I mean, you do a lot of work. So also like the fact that maybe you're not able to hang out on the Discord, I think is cool with the community just because like, yeah, we know like it's you guys are kind of like doing some wizardry.
Yeah, it's no excuse. So still going to make a bigger effort.
Right on.
It's just wanting to connect with the people who we're building for. So
Yeah.
yeah, no excuse there.
No, right
I'll
on.
see you guys in the Discord.
Cool. Well, I mean, I think you're doing like a great job though, like even though you're not there, because right, like I think there's through you guys this product, like you guys building like this phenomenal like public good, right? I feel like the benefits from it can also like lend themselves to like community. So I feel like what's the question I want to ask? Like how do these well obviously like I feel like APYs like lead to like community retention, right? Like having a great product like wants brings the people here and it kind of keeps them like any thoughts you have regarding like how yeah those APYs or like the benefits that your protocol has translates to the community retention?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
a great question.
yeah.
And I think this question of do APYs keep users engaged goes back to one, how sustainable are those APYs? And two, is liquidity being productively deployed? And are those organic APYs? One of Canopy's main goals is to make any APY sustainable. And that happens through productively deploying that liquidity and using latest technologies such as UniV3, better risk engines, things like that. And so we're really cooking on the back scene to make any liquidity that a community member deploys work at the highest rate of capital efficiency that it can.
Fantastic, dude. And then yeah, that idea of sustainability makes total sense. Like, I mean, like 3 years ago, or however long it was, I was totally like Luna. I had my Luna stuff, and then everyone was like depositing to get that 20% APY. And I think like there was like and people just talking about it online. It's like, dude, like how can this be sustainable? And like people were just buying into it. And ultimately, yeah, we all know what happened with that. So it's I think that's a good point, a good way to measure it, like, to make sure that things are sustainable. Like obviously awesome APYs are attractive, but if there's like no sincere way to like kind of maintain that, then like the product doesn't really serve its function, right? So I think it's kind of comforting to know that you guys are kind of like building something that's going to be sustainable. Was it challenging to make sure like these systems are sustainable, or that like they operate within the confines or the parameters you kind of just described?
Our main goal at Canopy is security. And
Yeah,
so any system that we're creating um, has to pass those internal benchmarks of performance, but more importantly, has to pass audits and get audited over and over and over again for each and every change that we make. Um, so, yeah, has it been challenging to create a solid reward distribution engine as well as all this vault infrastructure in the Move programming language? Sure. Um, but it's been a privilege to do so.
yeah. Dude, that's great, man. I'm pretty. Speaking for myself, and I'm pretty sure the community would agree. Like, it's comforting to know that you guys like take all these extra steps to make sure that the technology is there, because I think something that the gorillas also rallied around was the fact that yeah, there is solid tech here. You give someone like or the community something to believe in, and they're gonna rally and be supportive. So it's also doubly comfortable to hear that you guys on your end also take that as seriously and make sure that all your i's are dotted and your t's are crossed to make sure that when deployment happens like everything's cool
Yeah,
because your
and
community is what
that's
helps
one of the
you.
wonderful things about blockchain is a lot of this code is open source. Um, and so, we post our audits. So we encourage people to go look at those as well as check the code that we're deploying once it's available on the Explorer, etc. So yeah, we want people to be able to know that what we're building is being built with security top of mind.
That's yeah. That's excellent. Yeah, open source, making sure that the code's available for people to inspect themselves, I think is something that's pretty important to the yeah, well, to the people that actually know how to do that stuff. Yeah, Canopy sounds going to be great, man. Vaults, I know I've deposited. Is there anything else maybe that I haven't asked you about regarding the vaults or like anything cool that just like, maybe you're burning to share with us?
I think you've hit most of it. I
Yeah,
I have to be completely honest.
yeah.
There's a lot to come with Canopy,
Hmm.
and once we fully launch and users are flowing in and out of the vaults, we'll have a better idea of what's working for the community and what's not in terms of what they're favoring. So I'm looking forward to the near future here.
Dope. Oh yeah. So like people always ask, and you're gonna be the first one because I usually have like a fun question at the end, but I've never been able to ask it. Like this talk of like ice cream, man. Like, like I forget what flavors dudes were mentioning
Oh
up on stage, but
man, come on, Towels, you're gonna throw me into the beef. All right, yeah. So certain movement employees are talking about butter pecan ice cream.
dude.
I don't get it either. But if that certain movement employee asks me what I think of butter pecan ice cream, I'm indifferent. So yeah, the ice cream talk is a meme now. Maybe we need something to do with butter pecans on the NFT project or something.
Just call him out. I mean, I'm kind of surprised no one has said like Rocky Road, brother. Like, do people not like
That's
sweet stuff?
no, that's a great flavor. But I think what's more important about ice cream is what you pair it with. What are you pairing the Rocky Road with? Because you're never just getting one scoop.
Okay. But I feel like it's got like some good textures in there. You got like
Yeah,
some the
I agree with
marshmallow.
you.
Yeah. And then
And
the
if you pair it with,
crunchiness.
like, let's say salted caramel, I think that's a pretty good day.
Okay. You see, I'm waiting for like these. Okay, because I like the idea you just said, like pairing it with stuff. I'm not sure if those dudes, any of the, whenever this topic's brought up, if they've mentioned like pairing it. But I mean, yeah, like the butterscotch pecan or whatever, and then someone likes mint. I think someone likes like. How do you like
It's
mint as an ice cream?
I can't. I like it as a toothpaste. Great
Yeah.
toothpaste.
Yeah, that's what I think of it, like more of a toothpaste.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm just
cool.
getting a message real quick.
Nah, you're good. I mean, I think, but that's pretty much it. I think you've done a great job explaining what Canopy is, the product that it is, and how yeah community is involved. If there's nothing else that you have wanting to share, I think this is a good place to end it, man. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking the time with me, Bennett. Answering these questions. I know you're a busy dude. Thank you very much, man.
I appreciate your time more than you know. Thank you
Oh,
for
this
for
guy.
taking the time to film this with me. And I really am looking forward to the future here.
Excellent, brother. Me too, dude. Thank you so much. And I'm really happy I got that picture with you in Ruffles, brother.
Me too. Me too. Give my
All
best
right.
to Ruffles.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's next to me. So yeah, G move, brother. Until next time.
G move.
Movements got the power to prove. Wassa wassa, hip hop.